into Studio 5. It's a well-known chapter in the Christmas story when the three wise men bearing gifts for the baby Jesus came through. Playing off that treasured story, my next guest has identified three wise gifts of the heart we can all give each other and ourselves. Studio 5 contributor Connie Sokol is an author and popular public speaker. This idea of gifts of the heart appeals to everyone. No money required, just a little thought and time.
Yes, well, on the Christmas countdown, I think people are feeling it like, oh, I forgot to get that, and what about shipping and things like that. And I just love that these are simple, heartfelt things we can do that just make such a difference.
And I gotta say, whatever gifts are or are not underneath the tree at this point, if your family feels these three gifts,
yes,
I think that's a mom gold star.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. And if we as moms can feel good about that, then we've made Christmas.
First gift of the heart that made your list was the gift of peace.
Yes, and I think in this hustle bustle, I think that is such a hard one to capture, but to me it kind of comes down to a peaceful response. And I think so often when we're in this bustle, I gotta get stuff done, it's hard to give that, but what a joy to give that. Just think, I'm gonna give a peaceful response. If someone cuts you off, peaceful response. If something isn't done and they were supposed to do it, a peaceful response. There was one time I was standing in the grocery line, it was getting long, and the lady was having some kind of issue. We don't know what it was, but I was a little bit down farther the line, and people were getting a little tense. And anyway,
isn't the worst when you start to feel the rumble?
Feel it, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
there's magazines, people. But this sweet lady that was next in line, the woman turned and kind of was like, I'm sorry. And then I said, oh, don't worry, I got time. And that stuck with me. And I thought, yeah, this woman's probably got 52 things that she needs to do. Right. But I could feel that she was knowing that would add to this woman's distress, and she just was so relaxed and not worried. And I thought, sometimes we think we don't have time, but we do.
And how many times do we hear that phrase, I have time? If more people would say that, the rest of us would just come down a little bit.
We would. It would de-stress us, and we'd be like, okay, it's all good. I'm not stressing other people out. A peaceful response. I think it's a great thing.
How can we receive peace more into our own hearts and lives?
You know, I think it's really carving that time out and just taking it in pulses, in moments. Our toddler, when he first saw a Christmas tree with the little twinkle lights, he just laid down right underneath and just stared up at it. And I thought, that is so symbolic. We got the tree, we got the presents, we got the whatever, but are we taking a minute to just savor? So just savor.
Give yourself that time. The next gift of the heart that made your list was the gift of joy.
Yes. And this is so, you know, we want them to be so happy with what we're doing, but the joys are its simple service and meaningful gifts. I really believe that. Just this week, I had a birthday, and I was waking with anticipation.
Happy
and then,
birthday.
Thank you, 29 again. It feels so good.
It looks so good on you, too.
But I woke to 3 sick kids, and I just thought, it's going to be a mom birthday. But then I texted my friends, the BYU babes, that said they were going to take me to breakfast. I can't do it. So sorry, sick kids. And they called and said, we're coming to you. Aww. And so I said, no. And they said, no, we're coming. And they brought down breakfast, and we listened, and we laughed, and it was glorious. And I thought, that was such a service to me, and it was so from the heart. It was wonderful.
It was simple joy.
It was simple joy. And I find that those things, same thing with meaningful gifts, those are the things that matter the most. I have 2 friends that just did the most amazing gifts. One of them, she found her grandmother's recipe book, which is gold, and all the worn recipes and everything, and jazzed them up to make them readable, and then put it in a book, and then did a collage on the front of photos, and then old family photos, and then a tribute, wrapped it in handmade paper. That was her gift. Another friend, they got together all the extended family. Her mom retired. She made a quilt for her with memories from different years, and then they all met at Disneyland, her favorite place. Surprised her.
Oh, you're kidding.
She walked it, she said, the tears, and just, can you imagine that joy from that mom of here's all of her family.
And it wasn't about
meaningful.
The money spent.
No, it was she walked in and saw all of her family who is her life, and just was, I can't believe you did it. Meaningful gifts.
And there is something to be said about being open to that gift of joy.
Yes.
As well. I think a lot of times we get weighed down with the responsibilities and the to-dos, and we forget to feel that as women.
Yes, and that is to receive it. Definitely open yourself up to receive those joys. And like with my friends, I was saying, no, it's too much. Don't come down, it's too far, and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, we're coming. And when we open ourselves up to receive that joy, or to experience the joy with the person we were doing it for,
because you were probably thinking, and I'm just going to my own sick house, it's not clean, it's not acceptable for company, germs are everywhere, and so you're kind of closing that door.
Yes.
But by opening it up, you had a great little joyful experience.
Yes, and just receiving it and knowing that it's bringing them joy, and don't take away from that.
Don't take away from them bringing other people joy. I love that. Love is maybe last the most important gift of all.
Yes, and I think sometimes that love, we don't understand that it's such a simple kind of a love. We make it so much more complex than it needs to be. But when we just step back and and not have an expectation. When we can give without this expectation of response, or it has to be a certain way, then we open ourselves up for love. Years ago, I made these, I will own it, hideous leather wristbands for my sisters. And I did them in shop class in junior high. We're in 7th grade, you're not socially aware.
Did you stamp them?
I did. I stamped them and I dyed them and I even put the snap on, and they were thick. I mean, they're like Spartacus. I mean, they were really hideous. And I remember the anticipation, and they opened them up, and you know, they were older and they were more savvy, and they just looked at them like, what are these? You know, that A Christmas Story where they throw them to the side, and I was crushed. But you know, age and wisdom, I realized it was the process that brought the love for me, and that's what we can do. We can enjoy the process, and we can laugh. Yep, I know, they're about 4 inches wide, but hey, I loved making them. And so, you know, it is nice to know what they would like for a gift, but in the meantime, when your intention is to show that love, bask in the love and not in the outcome and the expectation.
I was reading this etiquette column a couple of weeks ago, and I took great issue with the etiquette expert's advice. Some woman had wrote in and said, I put so much heart and thought into my, I think it was her brother's kids' presents, and they mail them off every year, and they never get a thank you, and they never hear about it. And the etiquette expert said, well, stop sending the gifts. Just stop. And I thought, is that why we send gifts? To get the gush and to get the...
Exactly.
There needs to be a different purpose.
I love that. And if that's why we're sending them waiting for a thank you card, then we've got the wrong intention.
Right.
It is. We just celebrate it, and wow, if you get a thank you card, score. If you don't, you had a ball.
Right. And then just opening ourselves to that same gift of love, making sure we're in a place to receive it as well.
That's right. Just being present. There's a great quote from Brene Brown that she said, we're imperfect and we're wired for struggle, but we are worthy of love and belonging. And I think that is the gift of love that we give to ourselves, in the sense of we open ourselves up and we receive it. And when we're with someone, we're there. We belong. We're loved. We connect. That's what we do.
Connie, thank you so much. Such important reminders. We appreciate you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
And not to look too far ahead, but you do have a great resource for women who are wanting to get a fresh start in the new year.
Yes, just for fun, in the spirit of the gifts, 50% off. We have our Fresh Start Fabulous You gift, and then a kit, and then our Fit and Fabulous kit. And they're both 50% off, regularly $99, and they're $49 today. And with the code STUDIO550, so 50% off. So Studio550, go to ConnieSokol.com, 50% off, buy now, change later. So put it under the tree, and then January, we're gonna help you make change.
You are halfway there.
That's right.
Maybe not halfway, but close.
That's right.
Thank you so much. All right, coming up next, one ingredient and you are set. How to wow with cheese at your party potluck.